A very good morning, Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning, let us take a look on very important issues happening right here in the nation, Zimbabwe. So we have seen an assassination attempt on another high-profile retired military officer, that is former Air Force Commander, General Elson Moyo. So it's very sad to see such things happening. But let us delve into what Comrade Neva Masura says a near miss happened on retired Air Chief Marshal Elson Moyo around the Pixton area today. Moyo was retired on 15 March 2024, and yesterday I warned you Kutikuchaita Murakatira over the next 24 months. Remember, there is a second list of 5 more generals targeted. So this is the message which he posted, and right here where my mouse is an police intelligence report, which was from the district, maybe from the district to the province, and they were giving an update of what happened to retired Chief Air Marshal Elson Moyo. So it's very sad, and the circumstances are that around 1500 hours, a 10-kilometer peg Ichegu to Pixton Mine Road, retired Chief Air Marshal Elson Moyo, who seems to be alone in that vehicle. He was driving a silver Toyota Hilux double cab, and then upon reaching 10-kilometer peg, he failed to negotiate a curve, and the vehicle veered off the road to the right and hit a tree and landed on its wheels. So he was on his own, and he didn't sustain visible injuries, but he was complaining of a painful right hip and shoulder. So he was taken then to Chegutu District Hospital by a well-wisher, where he was airlifted to Harare Hospital by air ambulance, and his condition is stable. And also the next of kin was advised. So the vehicle sustained a dislodged front wheel, damaged right headlamp, and fender. Then the vehicle was towed to Concession Hill Farm in Chegu too. So this is what is happening. This is the report so far. So we are trying to understand what really happened right here. If you look on the vehicle, there is dislodgement of the front right wheel. Then also the damage of the right headlamp. Maybe it's because ndoko akarovera nako, and also he was complaining on painful right hip and shoulder, which means on the right side Wangari is the driver ndoko akaita problem. Yes, one of the most important issues to note is that the driver's side is the most secure side of any vehicle, because you are the driver, you see what is happening, and you can actually veer off or try to control the vehicle so that you miss with your own side. In my own view, the driver's side is the most safest, which means there is a possibility that maybe according to the information and the testimony of vakomana vari kutaura zvemagenerals, there is a possibility that it was tampered with. But also, if he was overspeeding in the dust road, it's very difficult to tell what could happen to these vehicles. But you know, this Toyota Hilux is one of the safest vehicles, especially in Kanarima off-road. They are one of the safest vehicles I've driven so far right here in Zimbabwe. So it's a very sad situation, very difficult to tell what really happened, what really transpired. Another question is that why are these generals traveling alone? Why is it that they are not in company of security? Are they not entitled to bodyguards? Why is it that they don't have security on them? And what is the military doing to make sure that their officers are protected? That is something which is very important to note. So diaspora says the military and all vets are responsible for all the misery Zimbabweans are in. Let it be decimated. Zimbabwe will attain freedom. General must reverse the case he gave us and allow a SN leader to take over. I quite agree on the issue of reversing the case which we have in Zimbabwe. A coup which happened in 2017 must be cured. And up until we cure that coup, we'll continue to suffer as a nation and as a people. And these things will continue to hound us. So very sad situations right there. And we need to continue to pray. Dokodo says, just heard this and asked my brief tweet if it were true. If the army doesn't act now, it will be Armageddon. The devil will not hide this time around. No mercy. So if you look at the strategic retreat, it means kana pachifanira kutofiwa pachatofiwa zvokurevesa up until all the people who are resisting a third term are wiped out. And at the end of the day, the general will be left exposed and you will be forced to stick around Emerson Mnangagwa. So if they don't act now, they don't have a legally, they don't have anything legal to point to challenge Mnangagwa now, which makes it very difficult for them to act. So legally, they can't do anything so far. As far as we are concerned at this point in time, they can't do anything because they can't blame Emerson Mnangagwa of any wrongdoing when it comes to the issues surrounding activities at ZANU-PF, except maybe if they are to make a move on the issues of corruption, yeah, maybe they will have something. But it's also difficult to maneuver because they will need to have justification from the courts first. So, it's very difficult to obtain that justification again. So at this point in time, we are facing a very, very difficult time for the generals. But I've said earlier, these are people who have made vows, which makes it very difficult for any other parties to be involved in their mess because ivo vari kuti vakachenjera. So we've been dying on our own as civilians, as people, and when it is their own turn, then who is going to be sympathetic with them? For those who are who want power, who are power hungry, maybe they'll become more sympathetic. But for those who are not power hungry, but let us agree on one thing. Personally, I would want to see these generals survive so that they see the good coming out of Zimbabwe. They see how good Zimbabwe is under the stable leadership of another leader. So my prayer is that one day these generals must wake up and understand one thing, that you are not invisible and you will not live forever. So time will come when you need to do the right things, and it's time for them to do the right things at this point in time. So assassinations continue, and continue to watch and see. Yesterday we talked about another assassination which happened to a young lady, and right now there was an attempt on the air marshal retired again, according to the team generals. So it's very sad to see these things happening, but this is where we then draw a line. What is the position of the power makers? So if you look at the power makers, it seems as if there was a group of people who resisted the change to happen in Zimbabwe. But their resistance towards the change, it was then agreed that they will have to deal, or they will have to cross to carry their own crosses. And that is what is happening. They are carrying their own cross. That is the reason why we appealed for a prayer in the past. We appealed for that prayer because, there is something which is very important, which is supposed to happen right here in Zimbabwe. That is the reason why you are seeing that they are perishing one by one, and questions are being raised. Why is it that they are not being protected? And up until these people understand what is important in this nation, they will continue to perish. This is the reason why I said if they want to save themselves, they must approach Advocate Nelson Chamisa. They know what they did with the elections. They know how they've been manipulating elections. They know their role. They have to approach him, find a solution and an agreement with him. Then he will guide them through, he will lead them because he know what needs to be done. Kuti zvinhu izvezvi zvese zvigadzirisike. And, that man knows how best he can deal with this situation. And even though an information is critical about the previous election, which means that the only avenue to stop this madness is to approach Nelson Chamisa. Once they are approaching Nelson Chamisa and they become witnesses, it will be very, very easy for them to save themselves. But they must not approach with conditions dzekuti isisu tinozodawo zvigaro. No, they must approach him and say isusu taakuda kurima hedu takagara kumapurazuku chivakai nyika vakomana. That should be the mindset. So it's very sad to see these people perishing one by one. But what can we do? We are equally powerless. We are even more powerless than them. Kana zvichoma pamutoro kuzoti sumuti yakaoma. You are murdering our own people. You are doing these things to our own people. Well, how are you going to stop when it comes to your own doorstep? But they ignored our plight. We were asking for permission. Look at Amos Shibaya, and a man without a gun who is being terrorized like that. A man who is simply armed with his voice against oppression. Look at Jameson Timber, a former senator and a former minister in the nation of Zimbabwe, who is facing difficulties simply because of evil people. Look at the Avondale 78 who are suffering right there in prison over 135 days now. Manje gore rinenge rakwana vakavharirwa. And look at all these people who have suffered in the hands of these comrades. And should we sympathetic to this system? No, we can't be sympathetic to this system because they have to carry their own cross. This is a precedent which they've set. They failed to run elections right here in Zimbabwe to make sure that there are free, fair, credible elections. They failed that. They are the people who could have stopped ZANU-PF in its tracks, but they ignored that because they had their own ambitions, or they have their own ambitions to become top government officials. Now that ZANU-PF is trying to militarize everything and everything, kunze, they are now feeling the pain. And the major question is, how are they going to stop whatever which is happening? I've already explained. Without Nelson Chamisa, then they are joking, they are playing Panopera. And we watch to see whoever is going to work with Nelson Chamisa shall emerge victorious. And sometimes kumanya andiko kusvika, you need to make sure that zvigutswa zvese zvabva, so that everything becomes or is done well. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Let us meet in other episodes and other broadcasts.